Thank you, Ed.
You're welcome.
Welcome to TRX Live, the recovery version. My name is Chris Nentars. I'm a TRX master instructor and a physical therapist from Buffalo, New York. And thank you for allowing me to take you through a nice recovery session today. As you get settled in, I recommend you take your shoes off. There's definitely some benefits to that as we work through some mobility exercise. Have some water nearby. We're going to be working hard. However, we're stepping away from our workbench into what we call our park bench. So we're going to enjoy the sights and sounds of the park a little bit. We're going to break away from the grind of work or the grind of high intensity interval training and give our bodies some love. We're going to be working from the ground up, establishing stability, and also working from the inside out, starting with breath work and core training. At the end of this, we're going to leave with the word balanced in mind. We want to keep in mind as well that recovery is an active process. It's something we seek out. Naps are great. However, if we want to drive the adaptation system, active recovery has its benefits, and that's what we're going to do today. So as you get settled in, all our exercises are going to be done with our suspension trainer at what we call mid-calf length. So take an opportunity to adjust your suspension trainer to mid-calf length, and then we'll get started. In addition, I would also recommend one more thing. Have a towel with you. We're going to be kneeling a little bit. As we said, we're going to be working on some mobility drills, and there's no better place than do mobility drills in a kneeling position, so please have a towel with you. A yoga mat or a pad will work as well. So let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to start on the ground, facing our anchor point with our heels in the suspension trainer. So let's go ahead and get there. Lie down on your back. Try to keep a straight spine as you do this, and then just drop your heels in. Now from here, I want you to sneak away from the anchor point a little bit. And then your job is just to relax. So as we go through these moves, I'm going to do my best to verbally coach you. That way you can really step away and be present in your body. So I really invite you to do that. Step away from what was before the session into what is now. Let's take a mindful approach to this movement and let's be here. So lay down on your back and then just start to pay attention to your breath. Think about inhaling deeply into the belly. Slowly starting to expand the belly and the lower rib cage a little bit as you breathe in. And then as you exhale, release and let go. We have time. We're going to reset the nervous system. Inhale in deeply through the belly. Exhale out. Relax your face. Relax your shoulders. Allow your body to lengthen a little bit. And notice, if you were to sneak away from the anchor point just a little bit, you'll feel the gentle pulling of the suspension trainer towards the anchor, called our pendulum principle, lengthen your body. Inhale a little bit deeper, a little bit longer, a little bit lower. Exhale, releasing out. Maybe letting your left foot slide away from the hip a little bit and doing the same thing with your right leg. We would call this articulation. So this is a very slow movement. We're going to do a lot of these today. This is going to start to bring synovial fluid into the joint. It's going to start to create decompression, all which is going to restore health to our tissues. A couple more breath cycles here. Deep in through the belly. This is diaphragmatic breathing, turning on the parasympathetic system, opening up the lower rib cage, followed by an exhale, relaxing, releasing the body. One more time. Inhale in through the belly. Big, deep inhale. Expand the rib cage. Exhale and release out. Great. Fantastic. That's breathing cycle number one. That's called diaphragmatic breathing. Let's take that diaphragmatic breathing and turn it into what we call mobility breathing. So it begins in the same spot we're in. Our bodies are relaxed and lengthened. Not only are we going to breathe in through our belly this time, but we're also going to start to bring that breath into all parts of my rib cage. So it looks like this. It's going to be a deep breath in through the nose, filling up the belly, the lower rib cage. Then bring air into the upper rib cage, into the shoulders, into the chest, into the sternum, Finally relaxing, releasing out. Mobility breathing. Deep breath in through the belly. Draw and pull air into the lower rib cage, filling the upper rib cage, the sternum, the chest a little bit more, maximally expanding in, and then exhaling, releasing out. Let go of any tension that you might find in your forearms and your elbows. And again, let the suspension trainer do the work by letting your body decompress. Inhale in deeply through the belly, through the lower rib cage, through the upper sternum, upper chest, mobility breath. Really work on expanding and exhaling out. We have 2 more breath cycles like this. Breathe in deep, really fill in through your thoracic cage. Create mobility from the inside out. Create energy from the inside out, and then allowing you to relax. So now we have a steep, dark contrast between the work on the inhale and the relaxing on the exhale. Remember, no matter how flat a pancake, it always has 2 sides. This is more the relaxation side. So now let's move into what we call stability breathing. We're gonna begin with a big deep inhale through the rib cage, through the chest, just like we did with our mobility breathing. But now my exhale is gonna be creating a little bit of tension in the deep core. So think about the rib cage knitting together. Think about the ribs coming towards the pelvis. Think about the pelvis coming towards the rib. Think about engaging your trunk as in the cylinder, buttressing your spine. So let's go ahead and do this. With our arms relaxed, with our heels in the suspension trainer, facing the anchor point, take a deep breath in through the belly, then into the chest and sternum. Now as you exhale, think about contracting through the core a little bit. Think about bringing the lower ribs towards the pelvis. Think about bringing the pelvis towards the rib cage. We're just gonna hold that little contraction through the core. And then we're gonna relax. Inhale in, exhale out. Brace the core, start to bring energy into the trunk, create a little bit of tension. Pulling the belly button towards the spine, maybe even contracting the pelvic floor a little bit. Finding different levels of abdominal and core contraction. There's no right way to do this, there's no wrong way. This is practice, which is a great thing. Lower your expectations. We're here to feel things a little bit. One more deep breath into a stability breath. So it's a deep breath in. It's an exhale out, bracing the core, tightening the body, allowing the trunk to stay tall as we do this. And then relax. Moving on from our stability breath, we're going to work into a little bit of a glute bridge here. And we're going to work on holding this glute bridge for 3 breaths, and we're going to do that for 2 cycles. So here, this is going to be great because we're going to start to engage our full body, not just our abdominal complex. And we're going to be working on breathing still. So it's an extension of our breath work practice. All great movement practices begin with breath work. So whether it's yoga, whether it's Pilates, whether it's martial arts, we always begin with breathing. That's what we're doing here today. So join me in this next progression. It's going to be a deep breath in. You're going to exhale out, brace the core, push out against the heels, drive through your foot cradles, bring yourself into a little bridge. So here we have our nice posterior bridge. We have a nice brace to the core. We have a nice glute and quad squeeze. So glute squeezing, quad squeezing, spine staying, lengthening. As you exhale out, find a new layer of brace. So pulling the rib cage in, keeping the hips up, maintaining a tall, lengthened spine, and then relax. Great job. Shake it out a little bit, let the body extend, and we're gonna do this one more time. So take a deep inhale in, exhale out, start to brace the core, belly button towards your spine, pinch the P, drive your hips up, pull your toes back towards your shin, squeeze your glutes, squeeze your quads, exhale out, brace a little bit more. Keep your core engaged, keep your hips up as you inhale. Exhale out, find more length in your trunk, let your heels fall towards the anchor point, brace your core just a little bit harder. One more breath cycle. Deep breath in, shoulders relaxed, core engaged, exhaling out, bracing the core, not just the front but the back, driving your hips up off the ground, maintaining a neutral spine. Think about the ribs coming towards the pelvis. Squeeze those glutes, squeeze those quads just a little bit more. And then relax. Movements like these, which we really call almost isometrics, where we're holding a position, are excellent. They're going to stimulate certain structures in our body, like our tendons, and they're also going to start to drive a little bit of metabolic waste products into our system, which stimulates the recovery system. So it's a great thing to do. Here we are working on intensity, not necessarily loading our body, but intensity through our mind and through our tissues. Let's gently move into a seated position, and we're going to work on some nice hip mobility here. So as you get up, feel free to get a little drink of water. I want to make this session not only hydrating for our tissues, but hydrating for our internal system as well. And you see I have my nurse's mug here, and I just want to give a quick call out to people like my wife who are on the front lines working hard. There's people not only in the front lines of hospital, but in other professions as well working hard, and I really commend you. So take a minute, get away from the workbench. Here we are at our park bench, reloading our systems. Here we are, moving into a seated position. So I want to call this home base for now, where we have our handles just about at the height of our chest. So feel free to adjust yourself away from the anchor point to find that position. And then we're going to start off on our sit bones. We want to work through a term called articulation right now. Articulation is the ability to move our joints, and a lot of times it's the small things that go a long way. Again, take a note. We're working on intensity here through our focus and our ability to do the small things right, not on the big things, which is a little bit different. A lot of times we love to lean into things. We love to work hard, whether it's psychologically solving problems, whether it's physically during a workout that might involve a Metcon. We love to lean in and solve problems. It's not the time for this. It's not the workout for this, but it also might not be the time for this. We don't know what's coming, nor do we need to. Okay, so let's start with some hip mobility. Here we are, handles at the chest. My spine is tall, okay? Start to breathe again. Inhale in, exhale out, brace. Get comfortable through your legs. Get relaxed through your body. We're leveraging the ability to unload my trunk here so I can maintain a nice pristine trunk angle and allow my hips to relax. So think about a butterfly stretch and let your knees fall out. Find a position that's comfortable. Good, let's extend the arms. Let's push through the suspension trainer to get our ears away from our shoulder, bracing. We're gonna do 2 breath cycles here. It's gonna be an inhale in through the belly, exhale out, bracing the core, getting tall, pressing through the handles. This is the isometric contraction. Think plank. So chase that plank down and then exhale. Let's do that again. Reset yourself. Push through the foot cradles, inhale in. This is an inside out practice, bracing through the core, pulling the rib cage to the pelvis, getting tall. I want you to be like a duck, cool and calm up top, but working really hard below. I think there's another life note there. Now from here, let's bring the handles back to our chest, and we're gonna work on a little bit of articulation through our hips, and we're gonna go into what we call our 90-90 position, also known as a shin box. So watch what I do here. Maintaining a tall spine, we're gonna rotate and let our legs fall to the left. We're gonna let our legs fall to the left. Pull up on the suspension trainer, let your body get tall. So here we are. We're just getting a little bit of hip mobility on the left, a little bit of hip mobility on the right as well. Find a position that's comfortable. We want to gain mobility over weeks and months, not sets and reps. So do what's comfortable here. Let's come back to home base, come back to neutral, starting facing the anchor point again. This time we're gonna let the legs fall to the right. So I'm unloading my body, legs fall to the right, and my trunk's gonna naturally come with it. And here I am, just allowing my body to relax, establishing good posture. Part of our practice today is working on posture and alignment. And let's come back to neutral. Let's do that one more time. Get a little taller, get a little more brace. Find a new layer of abdominal contraction as you do this, and let your hips relax as you fall off to the left. From here, let's take both handles. You can reach them out in front of you. We could do a little exploration. So I can lean forward to stretch the front of the left hip, which is great. I can come back off that a little bit, which is great. We can come in and out of that a little bit. Again, this is our play session. We're not here to work so hard. We're here to create mobility and explore movement a little bit. We can even open up through the chest. What does that look like? With the arms extended, I can start to open up with my left arm. Again, find a position that's comfortable here. And then start to articulate your body. Keep your shoulders relaxed so I can move my body in little circles. I could bend sideways and use this nice side bending frontal plane motion to open up the rib cage, which is all great stuff. You know, if you're a mobility rock star and your name is Jesse Grund, you could really reach out and open up. But find something that's comfortable for you. Bring the hands back, reset your spine, relax through your hips. Here we go to the other side. We're gonna rotate now to the right. Right leg's falling off, left leg's falling off. I'm staying tall, I'm establishing my core position, then we can explore. Home base first, right? Which means establishing good spine, establishing good trunk position, breathing and relaxing, all very important parts of this. Let those arms come forward a little bit, reaching forward, bending into that trunk. Using the suspension trainer actively, pushing through the handles to allow myself to maintain a tall spine. A little bit of stability and bracing in our trunk here will breed mobility in our hips. Let's start to open up the right arm a little bit. So now my right arm is going to move away from my body, almost in a shoulder T position. Then articulate. So whether you're moving through the arm, whether you're moving through the trunk, whether you're even letting the neck bend side to side, do a little free mobility play here. Key thing is maintain good posture, relax into the positions, not driving yourself into positions, but allowing gravity to pull you there. Great. So there we have it. So that is either our hip 90-90 position, or if you were to close the feet closer, we would call that shin box. Those are great entry points for hip mobility. Behind the lesson there was also trunk activation. Don't forget that as we move into our next position, which is going to be a half kneeling position. So I recommend you grab a towel or a yoga mat, and we're going to be kneeling, side facing the anchor point. My suspension trainer is still about mid-calf, so that means I might have to adjust myself a little bit different than I was last time. We're going to start with our outside leg down, which is going to be our left leg. So my right shoulder is sideways to the anchor point. My left knee is going to be down, home base with my handles, which means what? At my sternum, at my chest. My right leg is going to be forward. And set yourself up. Let's start at the bottom and work our way up. Make sure the left foot and left toe is really dug into the ground. Have that shin and thigh parallel with each other and really be perpendicular to the straps. The straps right now are even with my chest. Drive a little bit of intention to your posture. Think about the crown of the head coming forward. Place both hands in your foot cradles. So like you are praying, both hands are in the foot cradles. Then I want you to establish a wide posture. Let the crown of the head come to the ceiling. Squeeze your left glute a little bit. Brace your core. Start to extend your hands out as you're pushing into the foot cradle. So I want you to pretend like you're trying to pull the suspension trainer out of the wall. My wife would not be very happy, but I'm gonna try to do it anyway. So here we are. Our arms are extended. Our shoulders are down and back. The left glute and quad is engaged because I have to maintain this position, and my core is also engaged. I'm trying to push out, bracing the core. We call this a kneeling board. Bring the hands back. Reset yourself a little bit. Shake things out. Give me a neck roll to the left, neck roll to the right. Re-square your posture. We have that one more time. It's a big, deep inhale in. It's an exhale out. Brace through the core. Press it into the foot cradles. Drive your shoulders down and back as you extend your hands, letting the hands come up to the height of the shoulders, pressing out, 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 out. Bracing the core. Locking through the hip, squeezing the glute, and then pulling in. Really, really nice work with that. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna think outside the box a little bit, and I am thinking about traction and distraction with this move. So with my left hand, I'm gonna reach across my body, and I'm actually gonna grab the straps. So typically we would say, put your hands on the foot cradles or the handles. We're breaking away from that right now. It's a nice time to think outside the box. Now that I'm in a half kneeling position, I'm reaching across my body. I'm gonna let my hips fall away. I'm letting go, letting my hips fall. So for those parents out there, they really get that reference, especially now when I'm sure we're letting our kids have a little more screen time than normal, which is okay as well. Let the hips fall away, let the spine relax. Then let's take our right arm, let's reach it up to the anchor point. Bring the hips back to neutral, reestablish good position, and we're gonna open up with our right arm. So here we have a little thoracic mobility. And I invite you to play a little bit. So we can come in and out of that rotation. Here I'm letting my body fall, giving myself stability, allowing myself to be mobile. Hold your arm back, open up through the chest and trunk, and then we're gonna bend sideways. Now I'm gonna take my right arm, I'm gonna reach across the midline of my body. I'm gonna let my trunk fall. Let your right arm relax. Also let the head fall to the left. Let gravity pull you. Use the stability of the left arm to embrace the stretch on the right side of the body. And come on out of that. Let's do that one more time. Establish neutral, establish your position, give me a little left glute squeeze, open up through the trunk on that right side, bend the right side over, and we're just doing a little reach. Again, find a position that's comfortable, and I invite you just to relax. Let your body hang out, pun intended, and come out of that. Great work. Now, we're gonna pull and rotate our upper bodies here to the left. So I'm rotating my upper body towards my front arm, and then I'm just gonna give it a little hug. I'm gonna embrace the stretch that's in the back of the shoulder, lengthen through the top of the head, get tall through the trunk, hold that stretch just for one more second, and then let's come out of it. Great. So we're gonna do that a sequence again, and we're gonna switch sides. So now we're gonna be left side facing the anchor point. My right leg is gonna be down. We're gonna get that right toe into the ground, establish that baseline. My knee should be over the middle part of the shin here, if that makes sense. I don't wanna have that foot too far close to my body. I don't wanna have it too far out as well. I want it to be middle of the shin. Both foot cradles, chest, home base. So put both hands like you're praying into the foot cradles. Let's establish our hip mobility first. So it's a shoulder blades down and back. It's a deep breath in. It's a brace through the core. It's a squeeze through the glute. We're gonna press out into the foot cradles, and we're gonna start to extend our arm. Moving slow with intent, focusing on our position. Push out against the foot cradles, brace through the core, squeeze your glute. Please do not forget to breathe. And as you breathe, focus on bracing. Find that new layer of core activation for me. And pull the hands back to the chest. Great work. Relax the shoulders a little bit, relax the hip, reestablish spine position. So it's an inhale in, it's an exhale out, bracing through the core, squeezing the glute and quad, extending both hands out in front of us. Here we are working on a nice rotational ward in a kneeling position. Love this because we have to get hip mobility. We have to start to open up through our front, yet we're gaining stability at the same time. So brace a little bit harder, get a little bit taller, squeeze your glute just a little bit more, and then pull your hands back to your chest. Yeah, really, really nice job with that. All right, so from here, where are we gonna go? Home base, hands in the foot cradles. We're gonna reach across our body. I'm gonna grab the straps with my right hand. I'm gonna open up, starting with my left hand facing the anchor point. From here, we can start to work on a little side bending through the trunk, allowing our hips to open up, really allowing our thoracic cage to move. Again, I invite you to play around a little bit. Maybe you come in and out through your hip. Maybe you let the hip fall a little bit more. Maybe you let the head fall. Come back to neutral, and we're gonna rotate our upper body to the left now. So our left arm is open up, our chest is up, our shoulders are square. Come in and out of that. Again, I invite you to find the areas that are tight, and then you work on those. So for me right now, I'm feeling it more in my left hip, so I'm gonna sort of just work and start to articulate my body under the stability the suspension trainer's giving me to get more mobility in my hip. It's easy. All right, now we're gonna open up. Let's add that side bending component. So here I'm side bending to the right. So I'm rotating left, side bending to the right. This actually goes along with some of the normal mechanics of our spine. Relax the left arm, relax the head to the right. And great, come on out of that. One more time, come back to neutral, reestablish neutral. Open up, get some thoracic mobility, and then bend sideways. Let the stability of the suspension trainer add mobility to the left side of the body. Release the head, you can look over your right shoulder, let the arm relax, let that rib cage get long, and then great, come back out of that, okay? Fantastic work. Let's start to move up into an upright standing position. So I love this recovery sequence. We start off by resetting the nervous system, turning on the parasympathetic nervous system, which gives us adaptation capabilities. It allows our bodies to relax. Then we started with a little bit of bridging. We established glute activation and core position. And then we moved into our windshield wipers through our leg in our 90-90 position, opening up their hips. And then we used it in half kneel, and we're going to continue to build on that in what we call our wide stance hip hinge facing the anchor point. For convenience sake today, we're going to keep our suspension trainer at our mid-calf position. Place your hands on your handles, and we're going to get a wide stance. So from here, facing my anchor point, I want the hands to be at about the height of the hips. So walk forward or backwards, whatever you need to do, get the handles to be at the height of your hips. Turn your feet out just a little and get your feet just a little bit wider. Let's start with a deep breath in. So it's going to be a deep breath in, inhaling through our rib cage, through our lower belly. Exhale out, bracing first. Now that we're braced, I'm going to drive my hips to the wall in front of me. I'm going to let my hands float forward. So I'm only using the handles to push down and get tall. I'm not leaning my body weight into the handles. Find a point that you feel comfortable and then drive your hips forward out of that. So we're going to start off just slow, active, really workshopping our hinge. Press through the handles, brace the core, corkscrew the shoulder blades down and back away from your ears, and then drive your hips forward. Go a little bit deeper this time. Go all the way down, and then what I want you to do is come out of that. So I want you to have a little wiggle room. And as we talked about, we're going to be working on articulations today. So when I say articulation, think about cat-cow in this position. Can you start to mobilize your thoracic spine? Can you start to move each joint segment around the spine? Can you be a little more hip dominant as you go into that motion? Can you be a little bit more upper thoracic spine dominant? And then play. Inhale in, exhale out, brace through the core, push through the handles, then drive your body out of that position. Reset your shoulders. More advanced variation, turn the toes towards midline a little bit. This will give us a little bit more rotation in the hip, further enhancing our hip mobility. Here we are again, we're driving our hips back. We're bracing through the core, we're staying tall through our spine. Articulate through the shoulders, scrub those shoulders left and right a little bit. Really let those scapula, your shoulder blades move on your rib cage. You want to think about the scapula being an ice skate and the rib cage being a nice smooth ice surface. Those scapula should be mobile. Drive your hips back a little bit more, articulate through the trunk if you want. Take a moment to find the area that's tight and then release it. Come out of that, give me a little active tension, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the quads, come out of that hip hinge. Great job. So now here we are upright standing. We're going to continue to build on our hip mobility. We're going to continue to seek stability from the bottom up, and we're going to continue working on trunk stability as well. Remember, recovery is an active process. So here we go. We're going to do our TRX bottoms up squat. We're going to start facing the anchor point. Again, for convenience sake, we are keeping our suspension trainer at mid-calf. Let's start in a position that might be a little bit wider than you would normally squat. In addition, turn the feet out a little bit. We're going to let the feet float away from our body. We're going to let the toes float out. We are going to begin with our arms extended in the nice plank position. We're going to live here. This is going to be our home base for a second. Go ahead and get to the bottom of your squat. We're going to do this 2 or 3 reps. So you're going to drop your hips down, move slow, and then drive your hips out of that squat. As you're going into the bottom of the squat, think about pushing your knees out. Think about letting your spine and pelvis sink between your knees, but also be working hard through that upper trunk. So here I am, really engaging my glutes and core at the top, really engaging my lats and trunk muscles throughout the whole squat, earning this hip mobility. We're going to do 1 more rep. Hope we're breathing. Don't forget to brace a little bit as you exhale. And we're going to go to the bottom of your squat. Find a position that's comfortable. From here, use your biceps and arms to start to pull yourself forward actively into this ankle dorsiflexion position. And we're going to live here, so fall back a little bit. So I'm pulling myself forward, letting my body relax. Really just workshopping ankle dorsiflexion. If you want to play around a little bit, feel free to start to pull yourself up maybe on your toes. This might start to represent other movement practices that you are familiar with, such as yoga or a chair pose. This is great for ankle mobility for running. And I'll give you a little secret. We are going to do a running recovery session a little bit later. So keep joining us on Fridays for these recovery sessions. They're going to continue to build on each other, and they're going to continue to fit the needs you need in your fitness program. So here we are, active ankle dorsiflexion. Now let's start to scrub the hips side to side a little bit. Use a suspension trainer to get tall, right? So I'm actively pursuing core stability and spine strength. And then drive your body out of it. Good. Shake out the hips a little bit. Shake out the shoulders. Let's do that one more time. One big long repetition. Feet wide, toes out. Extend those arms. Sink into your squat. We're going to do 3 reps here. So it'll be 3 deep squats. Squeezing on the way up. Moving slow with intent. Again, here I'm mobilizing all the joints in my lower body. I'm working on core stability. And on our 3rd rep, you're going to start to pull yourself forward, working on ankle mobility. We're going to do this 3 times as well. So pull yourself in and out, really mobilizing that ankle. Maybe allowing the heel to float up a little bit, coming up on the toes. Just bringing life to my feet, which is a great, wonderful thing. Fantastic. Scrub the hips, use a suspension trainer. Reestablish spine position, and then drive your body up. Great. So there we had it, our bottoms up squat. Now the last thing we're going to do is really pull all things together. When I say that, we're going to pull together the mobility we gain in our hip. We're going to pull together the spine activation. We're going to work on the muscles from our pinky toe all the way to our pinky finger, and we're going to do a TRX shoulder eye. So let's do this together. Join me facing your anchor point. We're going to drive our knuckles up, and we're going to establish spine position first. So let's take a moment to get there. My normal tendency is to maybe be a little overextended, so I'm really going to fight that, and we're going to put our feet together. So here we are facing our anchor point, arms straight up over the head to what's comfortable for you. If you have a little pinch in your shoulder, it's not comfortable, step back a little bit. Reestablish your new position, okay? Here we are. Start from the inside out. Deep breath in. Exhale out. Brace the core. Engage the core first. Pull the shoulders down, then push back into the handles. Deep breath in. Exhale out. Bracing. Squeezing the glutes. Squeezing the quads. One more breath cycle. Breathe in. Exhale out. Push back against the handles. Corkscrew your shoulder blades down and back, pulling the shoulders away from the ears, bracing the core a little bit harder, squeezing the glutes a little bit more, and then relaxing. Does that remind you of anything else we did today? Yeah, remember our posterior bridge? Same thing. So it's really easy to get activated through the upper body with this. Don't forget about what's happening from the ground up. Let's do that again. So here we are. Establish a good position. Begin with the arms up overhead. Get some tension in those straps, no slacking. Pull your shoulder blades down and back, feet together. Here we are pressing hard through the foot cradles, bracing the core, engaging through the core. This is a posture reset. Oh, by the way, congratulations, you're making it look easy. So as you're pushing back into the handles, as you're bracing your core, go back to your princess training. Like there's a book on top of your head. We are going to lift the left leg up. As you lift the left leg up, push through the ground on the right side. Establish that plank, push back, use the handles to get balance, and then put the left foot back to the ground. Here we go with the right leg. Push to the ground with the left leg. Don't move your body. Abs engaged, head tall. Knee up, toe up on that right side. March. Hold that right leg up. Pull the toes toward your shin. Reestablish spine position. Push back against the foot cradles. Squeeze your left glute, squeeze your left quad, and relax. Relax through the arms, relax through your shoulders. We're gonna step up one more level. Again, you're making this look too easy. So here we are, body straight, arms forward, shoulder blades down and back, core engaged. Push through the ground with the right leg. We're gonna march with the left leg. Marching with the left leg, maintaining tall posture. From here, and then I'm gonna start to extend the leg. So we're gonna work on hamstring mobility. Where's my articulation here? Now my articulation is at the knee, further lengthening the posterior chain. But this is a plank. Don't forget about bracing the core. Don't forget about establishing stability on the right side of your body. And then relax the left leg to the ground. Relax your shoulders a little bit. We have one more rep. Last rep, best rep. Here we go. Arms start over your head. Brace to the core, lock everything in. Establish good position. Squeeze the left glute, squeeze the left quad. March with that right leg. Bring your right leg up. Pull your right toes towards your shin. Engage through the shoulders. Extend the right leg. Stretch that hamstring. We get 3 reps here. Push through the ground with the left leg. establish that good spine position, work on that nice hamstring mobility. One more rep, pull the shoulder blades down, pull the toes towards your shin, and then we will relax. Well, I don't know about you, I am feeling good right now, right? We took a step back from some of the things we normally do in the high intensity training world, and we worked on mobility. We also worked on breathing from the inside out, and not just inside physiologically, but I hope something resonated to you up here as well. And that's really what recovery is about. That's what physical movement is about. It's not just about what the changes are to our body, it's about what happens on the inside. So I really appreciate you guys being here today, allowing me to be your guest recovery coach. Pay attention to TRX Live. There's lots of great more videos coming. And again, thank you so much and look forward to our next session.